Hi, I'm Kelly and welcome to this video. And I'm here to shake things up a bit, to get you thinking about yourself, your body and your life in a way that maybe you haven't quite thought about before. Because you are unique. You are a beautiful woman who gets to choose what is right for you. And as a Love Body mentor, I really feel that it is so important for women to connect to themselves again, to listen to the woman within, learn who they truly are, and absolutely love every single part of themselves again. Do you feel inspired to love all of you again? If so, then I would love you to subscribe to the Love Body channel so you can discover more love and more joy for your life. So now I want to talk about eating with guilt and shame. Something we do as women that every mouthful that we put into our body is loaded and just jam-packed and shoved full of guilt and shame and hate and frustration and really just all of those horrible feelings we have about ourselves and about the food that we're eating, because there's so much shit really about food. Food is never food anymore. Food is never something that can totally be enjoyed. Food is just, as I said, it's loaded with so much more than what it actually just is. It's either too full of sugar or too full of salt or too full of fat, or there's not enough nutrients and there's not enough this and there's too much this and too much that and not enough this and not enough that. Like there's always something that goes along with what we eat. And I know for years, every mouthful that I ate was full of hate. As I said before, I ate the hate, like I'm literally eating my hate on the plate. And it didn't make me feel good about myself. It didn't make me feel good about the food I was eating, for sure. Even those really supposedly very, very healthy meals that I would eat, they weren't good enough either, because maybe they weren't healthy enough, or there was shame attached to it because maybe I wasn't genuinely hungry when I ate it. And so as I was eating my hate on the plate, inside my head there would be arguments, like constant arguments. Like, are you even really hungry? Do you really need to eat that? Maybe this could be healthier. Maybe you shouldn't have eaten that bowl of cereal this morning. You should have eaten something better. Like, there's just so much shit that we dump on ourselves as we're eating anything. And we feel such guilt and such shame. And that guilt and shame is kind of thrust upon us. It's thrust upon us by people who keep telling us that what we're doing is wrong, that you should not eat after 5 p.m. I heard that back, 20, 30 years ago. Don't eat after 5 o'clock. Don't eat after 7 o'clock. Now there's intermittent fasting, where you should only eat in an 8-hour window. Like, there's all these rules around food and how much to eat of this and how much to eat of that. And it gets overwhelming. It gets kind of frustrating because you don't know if what you're eating is the right thing. So when you are eating, it's never just about enjoying the food, enjoying what's on your plate, and feeling good about yourself as you're eating it. No, we must hate ourselves all the time because maybe we decided to eat a chocolate bar or a bowl of ice cream or some chips or some biscuits or something. So we feel guilty because we ate some biscuits, because we're not allowed to eat biscuits, because biscuits are so bad for us. So if we did eat a couple of cookies, say on Tuesday, and then on Friday, we're still feeling guilty about those couple of cookies. And then we might have to go to the gym and work all of those cookies off. And we hate ourselves for it. But who's telling us that we're supposed to hate ourselves for it? Well, there's many people, really. There's the diet industry, there's magazines, there's ourselves, family, friends. Like, there's so many people who have that same train of thought, really, that whatever you eat is not good for you. It's bad for you. It's terrible for you. It makes you feel disgusting. It makes you fat. It's not going to get you skinny. Like, there's just so much stuff that goes into all of that food that we eat. And I got tired of eating that way. I got tired of feeling so guilty and ashamed for the food that I was eating. I honestly couldn't feel that way anymore. I couldn't live that way anymore. It was destroying me. And if you've heard me speak before about using food as punishment, then that's really what that is. That's what that is for a lot of us. We use food as punishment. And there's all those horrible, negative, bad feelings that sit down with us at the table with our meal, and we're eating all of that. We're not just eating food, we're eating that hate. We're eating that self-loathing. We're eating that self-deprecation. We're eating that disgust in ourselves, that guilt and that shame. We're eating all of that as we're sitting there eating whatever it is we're eating. And there might be a little bit less of it because our meal is healthy. And there might be more of it because our meal is, well, apparently very, very unhealthy. But it just seems that a lot of us do have all of that stuff with us when we sit down to eat something. But what if there was a different way? Instead of focusing on all of that stuff, which we tend to do, we tend to focus on, I don't want to feel this way, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do this. And we put so much time and effort into trying to not do it that we forget about the things that we can do and that we do actually want to do. Like, do you want to sit down with your food every single day and leave all of that stuff behind you? Like, just drop it in the bin, throw it down the drain, I don't know, just get rid of it, get it off your shoulders, get it out of your mind, get it out of your body, so that when you do sit down, you now feel something that feels better. You can find something that feels good. Because when you eat, honestly, when you eat, and it doesn't matter what you're eating, you get to choose how you feel about yourself. You get to love yourself anyway. So in that moment, when you're sitting there and you're eating whatever it is, and I literally mean whatever it is, if you decide that you want to go and get a takeaway burger and some fries and a Coke, and you have that for your lunch, instead of bringing all of that heaviness and that horrible, horrible feeling stuff that you just drag around with you all the time, maybe you could bring in something that feels a bit better, something that feels a bit lighter, something that feels more loving. That you can sit there and you can eat your burger and still love yourself so much that all of that guilt and all of that shame and all of that other stuff will just melt away. Because it honestly doesn't matter what you eat. If you are eating with all of that hate and all of that negativity, that goes into that food, and it goes into your mind, and it goes into your body, and it sits in there, and it can actually do more harm than good than the actual food. How you feel about yourself is literally one of the most important things that you can do for yourself, because everything we do comes down to feeling. So when you've made the decision to go and get your burger and your fries and your Coke, what led you to that decision in the first place? Is it because it's just what you always do? You are feeling a particular way that you don't like feeling, and this particular food brings a feeling into your mind and your body that feels a bit better. It might not last, but it just makes you feel that little bit better, if only just for, a little bit of time. So that's why you do it, right? So you decide to get it because you know it's going to make you feel just a little bit better, because you don't want to feel this way anymore. The decision to get that, whatever brought you to that moment in time, that feeling, that horrible feeling that you don't want to feel anymore, this burger and these fries and this Coke gets you to a different feeling. It's a better feeling. Now, it may not necessarily be a happy feeling or a joyful feeling or a truly good feeling, but it's a better feeling. Because ultimately, we all want to feel better. That is the true goal of who we are as human beings. We all do things that bring us to a feeling that we want to get to. We don't want to feel all this shitty stuff down here. We want to bring ourselves up. We want that happiness. We want that joy. And there are many things that can actually get us to that place. And there are many things that can take us back down. So if you're sort of down here somewhere and you want to get up, even just a little bit, and that's what that burger does, then you get to love yourself anyway in that moment. You get to feel better in that moment. But you've got that moment. What about the moments after? That's when all that guilt and that shame and all those horrible feelings bring you back down. You want to stay there, even if it's just you've moved just a little bit up towards feeling better. You just feel that little smidge better. So it doesn't matter what you've eaten in that moment, because you've made your choice, okay? You've made the decision that you're going to eat that burger and the fries and you're going to drink that Coke. What really truly matters is how you feel about yourself after that. Because you can go for hours, days, be stuck in it for weeks even. Be stuck in that horrible, horrible feeling that keeps you down where you don't want to be because you just ate a burger. Like, there's so much, as I already said, there really is just so much stuff that we put into what we eat. And for what? Yes, we all, not just feeling better, but we want to feel healthy. We don't want pain. We don't want to feel sick. We'd love to be fit, and we'd love to be able to move our bodies in a really nice way that feels good. There's so much that goes into what can help you to feel good. And feeling fit, healthy, and pain-free in our bodies, in this vessel that we have to live in every single day, that drives us as well. We want to feel good in it, but yet we don't allow ourselves to feel good in it because there's so much guilt and so much shame about the food that we eat. For me, when I was in that place and when I was feeling all that guilt and that shame about the food I was eating and about punishing myself with food and hating who I was and hating all of the food that I ate and just hating myself for eating all of the food that I ate. And it was just this vicious vortex of stuff that was going around and around inside my mind, that it just drove me crazy. Like, drove me crazy. It really wreaked havoc on who I was as a person. That I was unable to just eat without feeling all of that stuff. It's not a nice place to be in. But over the last few years, as I've really brought myself out of that place and brought myself into more of a better feeling place, it's a better feeling. I feel so much better, and I don't hold on to all of the stuff that I used to when I eat something. I eat now because I'm hungry, and I eat foods that there's some words that I have to associate with the food that feel good for me, and I like to feel satisfied. I never felt satisfied before. I just felt like I was eating for the sake of eating. It wasn't because I was genuinely hungry. It was eating because I was punishing myself. But now I eat to satisfy myself and to feel good, to get rid of the hunger, because I am hungry. My body genuinely needs something to eat. But I eat foods that I find satisfying, that I find nourishing, that I actually genuinely want to eat. And I'm going to talk about this more in an upcoming episode, but as individuals, we also need to decide exactly what it is that we want to eat. Because I've followed diet after diet and recommendation after recommendation and expert after expert, and they're all telling me that I'm supposed to eat this, 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 and this. And it just never worked for me, and I could never understand why. Yes, there was a lot of mind stuff that went along with all of that at the time. But I've also realized that I was eating the way they wanted me to eat. I wasn't eating the way I wanted to eat, because nutrition and food and diets literally are just the food that we eat. They are so individualized as well. There should not ever be a one size fits all diet. And even in the same household, the same family, everyone likes their own things. You got, say, 5 people in a family. There's no way all those 5 people are going to like and dislike exactly the same things. And that's why it's quite hard at mealtimes. Poor mum, she's slaving away in the kitchen. She's making one meal, and this person doesn't like this part of it, and this person doesn't like that part of it. And it can get quite frustrating. But we have to realize that we are all individuals when it comes to the food that we eat. That's what I realized that I was missing ultimately, was knowing exactly what I wanted to eat. And as I said, this is going to be more of a conversation, and there's going to be a little mini workbook that's going to go along with this to help you discover what it is that you want to eat. And it's in an upcoming episode, not very far away. So watch out for that. But for now, it's really whatever you eat from this moment forward, from this point in time, you get to love yourself. You get to love yourself anyway, whatever it is that you decide to eat today. Do it with love. Do it with a kindness for yourself. Do it with a peace about it. That whatever is on your plate, you can sit there and look at it, and you can release as much guilt and shame about what you're about to eat as you possibly can, and reach for that better feeling. And hold on to that feeling. That's the key. You get to hold on to that feeling, because you can have it for a few moments, for a few minutes, maybe in a few hours. But when you get to the next meal, you get to do it all again. You can keep it going. How do you keep it going? It's really about holding on to that feeling that you want. And if you start to think guilty thoughts and shameful thoughts, you're going to feel worse. There's going to be a feeling inside of you that you're not going to like. So this is where the reverse it and replace it method comes in handy. You get to reverse any bad feeling thought that you have about what you ate and about yourself and about your body and all of that stuff that comes with that bad feeling and those bad thoughts. You get to replace that bad thought. You know, if you're thinking, say, oh God, I really should not have eaten that. It was loaded, or it was too much fat in it. It might have been too much sugar in it, or too much of this, or too much of that. Whatever it is that you maybe hold on to when you're eating. Just reverse it, like take that thought back. So you know what? I've eaten it. And you now get to replace it, right? You say, I have eaten it. It is in my body. I made a choice. And I love myself anyway. And the next meal that I eat, I'm also going to make a choice that is right for me, a choice that makes me feel better. Maybe that burger wasn't the best choice then. That's okay, because I love myself anyway. And my next meal, I'm going to go into that meal with as much love and kindness for myself as I can muster up in my body. And I'm going to make a choice that helps me to feel good. Because as I said, it all comes down to how you feel. We all want to feel good. But the little part of ourselves that doesn't allow that is the part that thinks that you aren't enough, that you're not worthy of loving yourself in any way. But you get to love yourself in any way, because you deserve to love yourself in any way. It honestly does not matter. Right now, you as a beautiful grown-up woman, all of the shit that has been put on you before this moment, that you have put on yourself, that others have put on you, you get to decide in this moment that you love yourself. Because this is honestly what all this comes down to. When you eat with guilt and shame, it's because you don't love yourself. You don't love your body. You don't love parts of your body. You don't love really maybe so much of who you are. Because as women, we're not supposed to love ourselves. But we get to love ourselves in every single moment. And remember that every moment is a new moment. That you get to do better, that you get to feel better, that you get to be better. You get to choose in every single moment how you feel, and all of that stuff that you've carried with you throughout your life, all your beliefs and all those thoughts and all those feelings that you've had previously. You get to decide to feel and think something different and believe something different about yourself. You get to believe all the good stuff. Because the food and what you're eating, it's only a symptom of how you feel about yourself. You're using the food to, like I did, punish myself. It might not be punishment. It could be something completely different for you. But whatever you decide to eat, you get to love yourself anyway. So Beautiful. Your power move for this week is whatever you decide to eat. Like literally whatever. Okay? You're going to love yourself anyway because you absolutely deserve to. And you totally can. It is okay for you to love yourself and fall in love with yourself all over again. You're not exempt from that. There aren't certain people in this world where that love only applies. It applies to everybody. I never thought it applied to me. I thought I was totally unlovable and I was just disgusting, and that's why I ate my hate and I used food as punishment. Because I didn't believe I was good enough. But now I do. Like, completely. And my thoughts reflect that, and my feelings now reflect that. And I feel so much better. Feelings that I honestly didn't think that I was ever going to get to. I didn't think I could ever feel this good for this long. I've felt good before in the past, yes, but I've never been able to maintain it. And the maintenance, that's the tricky part. You can feel good in a few moments, a few minutes, a few hours, but maintaining that, that's where it can get tricky because, as I said, every moment's a new moment and things happen. But you get to decide how you feel in every moment. And when you are sitting down to eat something, you get to love yourself anyway. I think I've said that quite a few times in this already, but I'm going to repeat it as many times as I need to because you do get to love yourself anyway. It doesn't matter what is sitting on your plate. But if you feel those feelings starting to kind of fall back down to where you don't want them to be, that's when you use the reverse it and replace it method. You realize, oh, okay, I'm not feeling very good here. Those thoughts that I just had, well, they're not making me feel very good. You know they're not true. You need to decide that they're not true. You need to believe that they're not true because they aren't true. And you reverse them, you get rid of them, and you replace those thoughts with truer, because they are truer, kinder, loving thoughts. And just start very basic if you have to. You don't have to go into too much detail about how much you love yourself. You can just decide to love yourself. Just, that little bit. And that love, it's going to grow and it's going to grow and it's going to grow. So, love yourself anyway. Reverse it and replace it. And get rid of all that guilt and all that shame that you have when you sit down to eat something. Because you deserve to love what you eat. And loving what you eat is loving yourself. Thank you so much for watching, beautiful. This truly is an honor for me. I spent so much of my life just being quiet, not speaking up, and staying small that I forgot that I have a voice worth listening to. Now, you may not always agree with what I say, and that is absolutely okay. It really is. This is a conversation between us. Yes, I have lots to say, but I also want to hear what you have to say. So please leave me a comment, email me your thoughts, just get in touch and let me know what conversations you'd like to have. And if you love this video, please share it. Who do you know who would also really love to see this video? But before you go, I want to invite you to find out more about the Positively You program. And inside this program, you will discover some amazing lessons about you and your body and your life, and really figuring out what it is that you want and what you need so that you can bring more love and more joy back into your whole being. As you listen to the woman within, learn who you truly are, and absolutely love every single part of yourself again. All right, beautiful. Until next time, love and joy.